Oh, hey. What's up, guys? This is Dimension Chronicler, or better known as Alex St. John. So, because of my first disregard, I revealed my full name. Yeah, so my name's Alex St. John, and this is the Disregard This Q&A video. This was inspired by Speed Racer Dude 511's video, or Josh, as he revealed. So, I decided I was going to do this going along with my Disregard series. So, I have all my questions on my iPad. I wrote them down. I did a journal just earlier today to get some questions. And as I'm pulling this up, as you can see, this is my real face and this is my real voice. So, alright. So I'm going in order as people posted them and by user as well. So, the very first question comes from Speed Racer Dude 511, and he said, "Should I disregard this?" Really? If you don't want to watch this, then go ahead and click off and go somewhere else. If you do, then you shouldn't disregard this. Asshole. Alright, favorite color. Well, I have two different colors. Different favorite colors. They're what I call the balance colors, like red and blue are opposites, black and white are opposites. I like the color in the middle, so I like purple and I like silver. That's just me. What brought me to DA? Oh, this is one part I actually like to leave behind, but I'll come clean about it. I got involved because there were a bunch of Ask blogs going around at the time about Adventure Time. So I did one for myself. It was also an introduction into Dimension Traveler way back in the day. So this was my idea of starting it. But then things went crazy. So I actually backed out of DA for a while. And then I decided to start up again because my friends and I were going to do a project, an anime, but that never went through. So originally my name was Pudding Pebble Product because it was going to be Pudding Pebble Productions. Long story about that. And so it eventually just became, and then I decided I really wanted to make it my own, so I did Dimension Chronicler, and the rest is history from there. Favorite book, movie, and TV show. My favorite book is actually one that's probably not really heard of. It's called Burnout. Burnout was a story about a photographer who was going through relationship troubles at the time. I don't know why, it just really stuck to me, and it helped contribute to a short story I did. My favorite movie, well, there are two different favorite movies I like, and they're both for different reasons. My first, The Princess Bride, because of the amazing story writing that goes into there, and just so much of the funny quips and the over-exaggeration of a bunch of things. I mean, they did the whole the Battle of Wits, the Spaniard dueling, and all this kind of stuff. I just loved the movie. My second is another one. It's a not nearly as heard of Disney movie called Treasure Planet, and I really liked that as a kid, so that one has stuck to me for years. Favorite TV show? Leverage. Leverage is basically like the modern day Robin Hood of like 5 different thieves, each with their own set of skills, and it's just hilarious. I love that show. Favorite superhero? Well, I'm not really into superheroes all that much. I used to be, but not anymore. So I'll go with what I was really into before I left it, which was Green Lantern. I really like the Green Lantern and all the mythos around Green Lantern. So, kind of went from there. Do I know the Muffin Man? The one on Drury Lane? No. No one fucking knows the Muffin Man. Get over it. So now we're moving on to the next user. Slim Pick and Suck. Sook? Suck? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, my friend. My favorite pastime? I like to go with the flow. I'm very random, and I'll leave it at that. Favorite writer? I like a lot of the DA and Tumblr writers who have created their own alternate universes to the Ruby universe. I mean, for so little that we have, people have taken it and just done so many incredible things to it. And I've seen so many great writers contributing to it. And I really wish the Rooster Teeth team would see that and really acknowledge it and maybe even have some fans contribute writing to the show or something. But that's just my personal opinion. I have not done anything like that, so this is not me fanning flames to myself. It's to a lot of other writers, like Skyer to Fox. What's her name? Funblade, and all these other different characters. I mean, they created so many different universes, and it's just amazing to see what they did. Do I have a trademark? Now, I'm assuming what you mean by that is like something that that's like something I do. I got 3 different things. First is the backwards hat. I love to wear a backwards hat. I just learned to love it. Headphones. I don't have them with me because they kind of would like really mess with me right there. So I don't have them with me, but I do wear headphones a lot, including in class. Sorry, I burped. And I do this weird thing. So like back in the Jack and Daxter series, if you ever played those games on the PS2, the 2 main characters kind of knew they were in a video game. And so they would break the fourth wall a lot by just looking at you. Kind of like something weird is going on. Like, this is all just a game. Kind of like that. I do that. Like when things just go really weird or something like that, I just kind of look off the side and then I go right back to the conversation. It's a weird thing I do. My favorite Ruby character. Now, I took a little liberty with this question. For the canon universe, Yang. I really like Yang, and I really wish they would develop her character more. She has a very interesting perspective. And actually, a lot of what Damien was based off of Yang, or what I would perceive Yang to be, her future self to be. So, I really like Yang. For original characters, actually, my favorite had to be Summer Rose by I'm just going to call you Naji, sorry. Naji Mizuho. He did a really, really interesting character of Summer Rose, and I really like that character a lot. I really like that character, and I've even tried to suggest changing that character into different universes that he's creating on his own. So I hope he does that. Ideal location to be stranded in. Probably a forest with a lake in it, maybe? I mean, I sincerely like the forest. Even though I'm scared of the Slender Man and all that shit, I still really like the forest. Especially since the summer camp I work at is in the forest. Favorite food and drink. My favorite food is chicken fettuccine alfredo with breaded chicken in it. Oh, that is to die for. Especially when my parents make it. Oh, my mouth is just watering right now from the feel of it. Oh. We hand make the noodles, the sauce, the chicken we buy from the store, but we hand make the breading and all that kind of stuff. Oh, it's just so good. And the drink, Mountain Dew. Can't go wrong with it. If I could have any accent in the world, I really don't know. British? I don't know. I've heard a lot of different accents at the camp that I worked at, but I just really don't care for one. Now we're moving on to the next user, Co-Swagster. What are your fandoms? Ruby, to an extent. I'm a little disappointed with the show right now, so I'm just kind of not really involving with Ruby. Probably Pokemon. I still like Pokemon. let's be frank. Digimon, still like that. Um, Mass Effect is another one. Star Wars. Any others? I'm just not really one for fandoms. I just enjoy the show. Well, Red versus Blue would be another one, but that's another story entirely. But that's about it. I really don't have that many fandoms. Favorite food's origin? I would think Italy. That would be where I'm assuming it is. I am very sorry for anybody that I offended from if I said that, if it was not from there, and you're totally offended by it. But I really didn't. It doesn't matter. Can you brofist the monitor? I'll save that to the end, okay? All right, next user, Cursed Glass. What would you do if you became a billionaire? For those of you who do know me, I probably would start spending a lot of it to giving different premium memberships, longer premium memberships, to a lot of people on DeviantArt. Probably spend it so that I could stay here at my college. Other than that, maybe just donate the rest of it to charity. I don't really hold money to be a valuable thing to me. I don't hold money as an object because I don't like it. And in fact, I kind of neglected on grabbing a paycheck. I had lost it, didn't endorse it or anything, which means signing the back of it to turn in so that I can use the money. For those of you who don't know, and I had lost it back in the summer. I just recently am getting it fixed up. That was months. I don't care about money. I'm just going to say that right now. I don't care about it. Okay? All right. My favorite OC. Really? CG, really? You really had to do this one? There are too many. There are too many to decipher. Each OC has their own... They have their own stories to them. Now, there are some that are really bad, like Ebony from My Immortal. Those of you who watch Speed Racer Do 511, who watched his video, probably got the wonderful taste that is My Immortal, and has further spurred me from not being that kind of a writer. But there are so many OCs out there that have wonderful things, wonderful characteristics about them. Even those that you hate but you love. You know what I mean? They're a character that, even though they're evil and you totally don't like them, you still love them in the end because of how amazing of a character that they were. Like for me, that was Azula. Azula is a really, really good character from the Avatar series. Oh, I hated her guts, but oh, I loved her being in the show. That kind of. So, I'm going to have to say there are too many. There are too many. Like your character, Oriana. There's also, Naji has so many characters that I love. His Rouge, Summer. Oh, they're just, Victor. Just so many of them. And I love them all. Sorry, I'm getting a little dramatic about that. Moving on. Is it okay if I eat Smarties whole? I don't know. Maybe? I would do research into that. Okay? The perchlorate. Now, I'm going to answer his questions now. Who will I vote for in the 2016 election and why? No one. I'm sorry. I have the right to vote, and I choose I don't want to vote. I don't support this system, and I'm not an anarchist or anything like that. To quote from a song, if you guys know this, it's the epic rap battles of history during the Mitt Romney and Barack Obama election. There is a line in the song where it says, "By the power invested in me by this giant bull and bird, the president shall not be the shiniest of two turds." That's kind of how I go. The president shall not be the shiniest of two turds, meaning I'm not even going to vote. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if this is not the answer you wanted to hear. I don't even know the candidates. I try to ignore politics. I don't like it. That's just me. If I could live outside the United States, where would I be? I wouldn't live in one place. I'd probably be traveling. I really would be a wanderer. That's just me. My college. I attend Cornell College at in Mount Vernon, Iowa, and I am a freshman here. So, just letting you know. My writing's greatest strengths. I was actually really surprised by this question. I did read these questions ahead of time to think about my answer. Uh, my greatest strengths. Man, I would say probably it's great. I've heard a lot of things from people, and I'm going off of that because I really can't analyze it. But people say I'm really good at describing and battle scene. Like a lot of other writers have told me, I'm really good at describing what happened so that they can see it fully in their mind. And I believe that's one of my greatest strengths. I've taken a lot of studying into action, into fighting, and I know how fights work, which I'll probably do that as a disregard this someday. But that's pretty much one of my greatest strengths. Another great strength, I'm trying to really think about this, my friend. I really don't know a lot about my own writing, and that's probably really sad. But greatest strengths in my writing. Comment down below. Tell me what you think my greatest strengths are. I would like to know. The greatest weaknesses. Let's go over those, shall we? I have a lot of trouble finding vocabulary for certain things. I tend to repeat a lot of things, and I want to use different words, but at the same time, I don't want to use words that don't fit the character's voice. So I'm always at a constant disconnect, and it drives me nuts. So that's one thing I really want to improve in my writing. And so I study a lot of other people's writings, especially a lot of people here on DA, so I can learn more about what they have, so that I can incorporate it into my writing style and use it from there. All right, how do I work to make it better? I study different writers. I've learned a lot about story. I've done a lot of research into story and how that works. So I've done some research into Joseph Campbell and his work on the hero's journey. If you guys are really serious about writing, take a look into his stuff. That's important. That is the core story that's written into our DNA, the one that we connect with the most. So think about that. And the perfect example of it would be Star Wars. When you read that, look back at the 4, 5, and 6 films, you'll see it clearly. The hero's journey. Okay? Najee, you're up, man. Alright. Who is my OTP, Jen or Robin? Why? For those of you who don't understand, he has his own Mass Effect fanfiction called Mass Effect Generations, which is basically his version of how the ending should have gone and what happens from there, which is a really, really good take. So it was the Destroy ending that he chose, and he wrote it so that way Shepard does live, like the breath scene at the end of it. There's I'm not even giving away many spoilers in this, but how it works is that female Shepard got together with Garrus, and they were able to find a way to splice human and Turian DNA to make a baby. And so their son was the very first, and his name was Victor Vicarian, or people nicknamed him Shepard because he's Shepard's son. And so it's his journeys after, and there's this whole thing about something's going on. It looks like the Reapers are back, or it's the Leviathans. And if you really want to look into it, really, I would suggest the Mass Effect series. It's a very good series to get into. So my OTP with Victor. I know it's with Victor, and I have to say, Jen, Robin is just, it's too set up. It's too set up that they will get together, maybe eventually. Jen is the newer character, the one that always gets flustered, the by the books girl that just gets flustered. I love the scenes between them, especially when Victor was drunk and the aftermath of it, how she was just very annoyed with him. I enjoyed that very much. And we haven't seen much of Robin. It may change if I see more of Robin and her dynamic. So just keep that in mind. But right now, with me, it's with Jen. What would you do if you won the lottery? Kind of the same thing with the billionaire, except I would probably make sure it was safe, because people who win the lottery tend to die a lot. How often do you drink? I have not had a drop of alcohol in my life. I was planning on going to a party tonight, but my group kind of had a miscommunication and I got left behind. I don't hold it against them. Something weird had happened. So I was planning on going to try alcohol for the first time, but that didn't happen. So as of right now, it's still... Sorry, there's just something weird going on over there. So I was planning on trying it, but it just didn't work out. Favorite sport / physical activity? Probably, it's going to sound weird with my summer job, because there's a lot of stuff that we have to do. There's a lot of physical labor between when kids are there and when kids leave. When the kids show up, before the kids show up, we have a lot of stuff that we have to do, which is like moving campfire wood, moving a bunch of bunks, all these other kinds of things. But it's my favorite place on earth, so I wouldn't think that kind of counts. Favorite season, why? Summer, because I get to go to the summer camp and work there. It'll be my 3rd year, but I was a camper there for many years. And it's also my birthday at that time. And actually, this last summer, they brought back the tradition of throwing leaders who had birthdays into the pool. And I got thrown in with somebody else who had the same birthday as me. So that was funny. Alright, now I'm on to the last user. Basara Kami, I love this girl, by the way, the lovely Basara Kami, says, when did you first start drawing and develop your style? Oh man. I was probably 11 or 12 at the time, probably around the same time I wanted to be a writer, too. I started drawing, and I first learned from Nickelodeon drawing books. So it was actually very weird. I was not that good. I was terrible. I was god-awful for many years. And finally, I just took the style that I was learning from. I had Christopher Hart books on manga and anime and how to draw them. And so I took that style and I was simplifying it down. And people kept telling me, oh, it looks really good. But then I would see people like Naji and all these other people, and I'd be like, no, I'm not that good, and I know I'm not that good. So I took it and I really simplified it down to what it is now. It's still got a little bit of anime influence to it, and I noticed I've been putting detail back into my drawings. I guess that's just natural artist instinct, but I'm probably going to try really work on just simplified drawings and characters. So that's kind of how my style was developed. I also learned a lot from cartoons and how they simplified their characters down and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of slowly developed to a more simplified style, so I can do a lot more poses with it, because I can't do super detail with poses. It's just something I know that I cannot do, so I'm sorry. Alright, what would my superpower be? This is going to sound a little strange. To take away pain. That would be my superpower. to just go up to somebody, be it physical or emotional pain, and just take it out of them. Now, probably the side effect of that power that I think about it now would be it would be on myself. But I would gladly take away someone's pain and bear it on my shoulders rather than them having to suffer through it. People call me a nice guy. I'm sorry I'm going off topic here, guys, but people call me a nice guy, and I'm not. I'm really not a nice guy, guys. I'm just a guy who does nice things. I'm not what people really want. I didn't really want to get all depressive, but it's in my last video, and not my last video, my last post, I talked about the wolf, or the lone wolf, the second side of me. And I talked about how there are people mostly want to be in groups. They want to be with somebody. They want to be with the pack, this group where they feel they belong. I don't have that, nor will I ever have that. And that's not something to be sad about, to pity me about, or anything like that. It's just natural. There are people who are lone wolves. And there is this whole notion of dramatizing this loner who's outside of the group. The one who's out there on his own and makes his own. That's not what it is. To be alone, to accept being alone, to know that's what you are, to know that you won't be fully integrated into a group. You can run beside them. You can believe what they believe, but you are not part of them. You are separate. And you can walk away anytime you choose. That's just something that different. Sorry. I really went off there. So my favorite superpower, my superpower would be to heal. Favorite anime. My favorite anime would probably have to be. Well, I haven't really watched a lot of them actually. Now that I really think about it, I haven't watched all the ones people keep suggesting to me, and I really want to get to them, but there's just not a lot of time for me. So Ruby used to be, but then I've become severely disappointed in the show. So that one's not on my list anymore. Sword Art Online for the first season, that was decent up until the fairy arc, and that one just got real. That turned into a hentai, and I don't like watching those. So it went into that, and it was really weird, and it was an awkward transition, so that wasn't really what I was looking forward to. But that's just it right now. Anyways, bands, genres, and music. What's my favorite? I can enjoy any type of music really. If I find something meaningful to it, I like it. I can pretty much listen to almost anything, and people always like, "Oh, that pop trash." I'm like, nah, there's some good in it. There's my favorite bands: Fall Out Boy. There's also Simon Curtis is another favorite artist of mine. And just people who make really good songs. That's just it. All right. So the last thing that someone asked me to do was to bro fist the monitor. So I'll see you guys on DeviantArt, okay? Bye.